Hi there gamers, welcome back to Cryptic Gaming. Today we're going to be playing Skull and Bones. Alright gamers, so I am going to be making a comprehensive video here and we're going to build upon this thing some because I'm noticing a lot of new players here in the game. I like to come out here to Tier 1 to check things out, see how many new players we have coming in, and I'm seeing a lot of new players today. So I felt like maybe we need to put out a video to help some of these new guys coming into the game. Now understand the base game has changed quite a bit since when we played through last year, so I'm going to show you the easy ways that I can show you how to find stuff. So first things first, if there's a specialty ship that you're looking that has been in the game, a medium ship, you're going to want to talk to this guy here at the end of the dock. Now, he is also into Lock Panjara. His name is William Blackwood. You're going to go to the buy sell area. Now, he's going to have general stuff he sells here at the top. Then he's going to have time limited things he's going to sell, which will be like your blueprints. The Garuda is what he's selling this week. Now, that's probably going to change come Tuesday, and he'll be selling something else. I think the bark comes up in rotation next, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure, but we'll just have to wait and see on Tuesday what's going to be there. You can buy a lot of things like armors, weaponry, so white jades. These are a healing cannon, so unless you're planning on being a healer, it's not going to help you out much, guys. Buccaneer's Oath, great armor. I do recommend that you grind out some cup for bars. I'm going to show you how to do that also in this video, but one of my highest recommended armors there. Now, before you're going to be able to use that, unfortunately, you're going to have to up your ship levels. Now, what I mean by that is you're going to have to upgrade your ship, either by using a medium ship or by coming to your shipwright and actually upgrading the ship. And I think going to level 2 will make it so that you can use that. It could be based off of in-game rank 2. They used to base that off of being a kingpin. Like I say, it's been a long time since I was over there. They've changed some aspects of the game, so you have to look and see what it is. Now, kingpin does not take long to get there. It is just built off of infamy, which is basically XP, gaining out a lot of XP. So if you sell with me or some of our buddies here in Banished Souls Discord, we're going to get you to an area where you're going to be a kingpin in less than an hour. Now, that doesn't complete your contracts or even your main storyline, but what it does do is it gets you to the level where you can use weaponry and stuff like that. It's going to make the game a lot easier on you. So I'm going to definitely make sure I put that link down there in the comments. I'm also going to put a link here in the comments for you. That's going to be, if you're new to this game and you're looking to be able to use like that Garuda ship that's over there that's for sale, or any ship really, and you don't have these advanced weapons from last year yet, there's some great builds out there using current weapons that you can use here. So you're not going to have a lot of expense into something fancy, but it's going to be just as effective. So I'm going to be putting a link over there for Why So Serious. He's got a lot of great ship builds. He is actually the Banished Souls Discord leader, does a fantastic job of keeping people situated on ship builds and, you know, the most powerful builds that you can currently craft in the game at just about any level. So definitely make sure you check him out and subscribe over there. I mostly handle a lot of the recruiting and, of course, these types of videos here. I love doing these tutorial style videos. Now, if you've never set sail, or you've set sail a few times and you are getting destroyed on the water, I'm going to show you something real quick. Now, I'm in a large ship. I think I'm got the schooner out. I'm going to look and see here. It doesn't matter what ship you have because it's going to be the same battle tactics. You need to get used to bracing. Now, that was one of the hardest things for me to get used to because I am a World of Warship Legends player, and they just don't have brace on that thing when you're coming in there with battleships and things like that. This game has brace. And when you're using brace, you have to understand the mechanics of it. If I'm sitting here and I can put some furnitures on my ship that you build at the carpenter, by the way, that's why it's important that you run through the story, because you're going to have Skurlock send you to blacksmiths and people that's going to get you at the carpenter to get you rigged, outfitted with some furniture for your ships and things like that. It teaches you the bases of the game. That's what that is. Now, there was some early complaints that there's not really a story. The story begins and starts pretty early on, and then it becomes up to you. Because understand, you are your own pirate. You're role playing yourself as a pirate that was outcast or thrown off of a ship that was destroyed in battle. Now, I don't know what the beginning of this game is now, but the beginning of it used to be you were in a massive battle with the British, and they sank the ship, and you're just a flea-ridden wash ashore that managed to bundle some wood together and created a dhow, which used to be a raft but looks more like a boat now, and you made your way to St. Anne, and that's where your story begins. Now, a lot of the storyline that they had in there, it was more or less for tutorial type aspects, but it was kind of lacking in some areas, so I feel like, might want to beef on that. So if you're sitting here, you can brace, and you can brace for a long time. So bracing is, for me on the Xbox, or even if you're on a PlayStation, it's going to be RB or R1. As what it is on the computer, I'm not sure. But you can look over there on the bottom right-hand screen, and it shows a shield. Now, we ran out of brace. How did we run out of brace? Well, our crew ran out of stamina. But you can garner stamina by eating food. So stamina 35% boost, that's just using grilled bananas. Now, you can use grilled bananas, or you can use grilled coconuts. If you leave out of St. Anne right here, there's coconut trees all up along this shoreline. There's some here and some over here. There's also sharks and gators that you can use for food. And there's also fish. You'll see schools of fish up in these areas, and you can throw your spear and you can catch fish. Now, the best place, and I'm going to show you my farm spot where I get my stuff. If you come to Africa, now you may not have all of this opened up if you're just coming into the game, guys. If you come straight over to Africa, it's going to lead you to this little supply route. There's actually just north of straight across, you'll come up to the sunken gold mine. This right here is a banana orchard, and you can get over 200 bananas right here just going around this island harvesting. So there's my secret on how you get food. Now, I don't try to carry more than 500 food based off of weight for my ship, but you can carry however much you want. Keep the rest in your cargo. It does not go bad. Now, as you progress through the game, you're going to start hunting like sea monsters and things like that, be like Reaver's Revenge and stuff, and you're going to start getting a lot of meat type stuff. You can start buying meat from St. Anne and stuff as you get more silver and all that kind of stuff. But this is going to be a free source to keep you going, and you can keep yourself going on coconuts or the bananas pretty easy. Now, there's another aspect to brace that I want to show you here. Let's see if we can find a ship over here. Get a little aggro going here, because there's a little factory. Maybe we just fire over there. We can get them hot in the head there. Okay, so we got a tower here, and every time he shoots, I'm going to brace. Now, don't hold your brace because you're just wasting your stuff. As he gets close to hitting, braced and let off. Now, there are some shields that have what they call an AoE, area of effect, and every time you let go of the brace, it will either heal you or destroy something near you. So this one here heals for a percentage of what you braced. Now, I don't need any heals, so I'm not actually doing anything. I'm using the Ouroboros armor. You can build that, get the blueprint for monster teeth. If you watch, I'm going through stamina, and that little blue line on the left there is called brace. And the more I brace to it, the more that goes away. These small ships, not a big issue. Large ships will become an issue because it will eventually break through your brace, and then you're going to take damage. So keep an eye on those in battle in your combat. Let's go ahead and expend this. I don't want to take off here. Let's go ahead and expend our stamina here. Okay, so with no stamina, I'm no longer really able to brace too well. See, my brace has gone away. Now I'm relying on armor. And as they take away your armor and your brace, you'll start to take damage on your actual ship. These are really some bad ships to show it all because they just don't have a lot of DPS. There you finally went. But that's how that works. Once you exhaust your stamina, your brace is going to exhaust, and then your health is slowly going to go away because you're no longer able to brace through that ability. So that's how that works. if you're having problems, practice your bracing. Don't run around holding your brace the whole time, because all you're doing is burning through stamina. Then when you need it, you're getting slammed. So it just takes a second to brace through and then release. Get you some practice doing that. It's going to make the game a lot easier for you guys. Now, when it comes to weapons, I'm just going to be honest. There's not really a best ship in this game, guys. There's what ship best suits you. For me, I love the Sandbuck. Have used it since year one. Since pretty close to, as soon as I hit Kingpin, that was probably one of the first things I bought out of the black market was the Sandbuck, and I used it all through season one. I'm sorry, year one, season 1, 2, 3, and 4, and that's what I used. And I even used it into this season with year 2, but I did get the schooner. It fits me. It suits me. I love the DPS. The basic AoEs that you get with it are fantastic. You're going to learn. We're going to go up here to the codex here. I guess I should go in one day and see what all these achievements and all this garbage is. I just don't even care. When you come in here on these ships, we should be able to read like the Dow is a DPS for ramming. It does a lot of really good stuff as far as your, I'm not the Dow, the rammer Badar. It does a lot of ramming and stuff. So these are great ships to, put like the pistachio armor on. It actually heals when you ram. A larger version of this, what you'll notice, the small version, they have a large version of it that comes out later, which would be the Brigantine Hullbreaker. It's essentially similar to that ship, and it's a rammer. It has the bullhorn perk. Again, putting that armor on when you ram, it's going to heal you for 138% of that heal. Say there is no best armor or best ship. There is what suits you best. If you like running this type of ship, you need to be aware that you're going to be burning through stamina quicker than you would other ships. Now, they've done a good job of balancing that in a little better this year, but you still burn through more stamina than you do other ships. But you're getting those heals from rams. Then you have things such as the Hulk. This is a tank, which is basically a very small version of the Snow. It's another tank class. You get a little bit more of you get this brace strength, 5% per second recovery. Whereas this one here doesn't really have that, but it does have some bracing and stuff to it. Then, of course, you have this Cutter, which is a small support ship. And it does some heals. Restores severe damage and whole health. It's not bad. Then, of course, you have, let's find her, the larger ship to this, the big brother, so to speak. This is the Bark. Again, support ship. Then you have what's known as a firebrander, a barge. This is one that works off of fire. So, its big brother is the, let's find her, where you at there? Sandbuck. So this one here, again, fire. Then one of my favorite ships in here as far as the small ships is the sloop. Now, that's a great ship. I love the sloop. I throw fire bombards on, which is an explosive weaponry. And, also has the ablaze perk to that as well, but you can just really do some serious damage. Hits have 50% chance of triggering an explosion, which deals an additional 1,500 damage within a radius of 150 meters. Great stuff. You get that here with the Sandbuck, but it's a blaze effect, 5,000 burning damage within a 150 meter circle. But also you get that with that firebrand, which is the barge. You'll get that for 125 meters. You can kick out that ablaze speed. It's 150% damage you can kick out, man. There's just fantastic stuff on her. Then you have like the Patagon. Now back in the day, and I imagine this ship's fixing to have a big comeback with them boosting the mega forts and stuff like that. Then there's going to be a super fort, I guess, that's coming out here in season 2 from what it sounds like. So I imagine we're going to be bringing these back out. These are a ship killer, or I'm sorry, a wall killer. They get a lot of boost to your weaponry for taking out walls and stuff. Very great ship for that type of stuff. But you can use it for, plenty of other things as well, because you're getting some of these extra effects off of it, ablaze and stuff as well. So great all around ships. There's no wrong ship or best ship or better ship. There is a couple ships I don't like at all, and I'm going to show you what. And now there's some guys that love this ship, and I'm not trying to pick on you guys. Y'all got great builds. I don't care much for it, and here's why I don't. It's a support ship, and The only support ship I really ever use is the Bark because it actually has this status heal thing. But the Artificer Brig is a support ship. What it does is it has a spring loader perk, and it allows you to kick in the buoys a little bit faster. It gives them, a little bit more resistance, reduces the reload time, things like that for healing buoys or mine buoys, stuff like that. They're really starting to come back in with some of the way the fleets work. But like I say, still just not my favorite ship in the game. And the Garuda, for all that it is, the things that are just loved about the ship, there's just one thing I just don't like. Now, it's got a great Deadeye perk for you guys who love sniping and stuff. Fantastic for that. The only problem I have with this ship is it's like shooting an arrow, or it's like shooting a bullet from a rifle. It's not going to turn. It just keeps hauling. If you're at full speed in this thing, you cannot turn. In fact, you can almost be parked, and it just takes so long to turn and get this thing maneuvered around. So you better have a really good build. It's best for sniping off long range and just hammering them at a distance, because if you pass them, just keep on going. It's going to take a pretty good ways to get turned back around. So try to destroy them as you make your way through. But it does have this 6 gun on the front of it. What that means is any cannon, long gun that you put on, you're going to get 6 shots from it. Fantastic. Love that when it comes to like the Picares and stuff like that. But like I say, they've been balancing a lot of that stuff in. But my thing is, I love the electric long guns on this thing, guys. The Divine Thunder, I think they're called, or something like that. But that fantastic weaponry for that type of stuff. If you are into those Juggernaut, this is the big daddy of all tanks as of right now. I'm sure that'll change once those large ships come in. The Juggernaut Battle Junk, fantastic for those of you who like to tank. Now, if you're new to this game or you've been playing it a while and you're like, I'd never really looked at this stuff, think of this game as you would any other type of an MMO as far as your character that you select, except instead of settling on one character, you can build multiple characters. You are the ship. Now, your captain, he's your avatar to interact on the islands, but the ships you build are your ships. They're your designs. You then come in and you build upon their base stats at a carpenter. So when you come into your carpenter, now you're going to have your upgrade tools, these things here. You're going to want to reach your max quantities. That is definitely worth doing that, guys. But you're going to realize that you have like damage perks. You have projectile speed perks, range of area effect perks. You're going to have utility furnitures. These are things like maintenance forge, double planked hull. That's going to give you a thicker hull, make your ship a little better. You're going to have status effects. These are things goes to extend the flooding for a longer period, what you call flooding. Say you ram them with your brigantine or your badar. Well, hey, you want to make sure that they continue to flood, so you would throw that lead kettle on there. Or maybe you're using the spike warhorn because it's going to give your crew the attacks more frequently. Okay, and now if you're using something like spike warhorn and you're then using a furniture such as, let's see where she's at. It's called the scrapper station here. Yeah, so scrapper station, every time that you use a crew attack, you heal your hull for 8,000. Now, this is the great one for those of you who, like me, like to use a sandbuck on occasion. Throw this on there, throw that spike warhorn on, and every time you get a crew attack, which is about every other shot with that thing, you're going to be able to heal your hull, and it keeps you afloat. So I do recommend that. Then they got like the Drowned Ones Toll, war drums. I don't run war drums. I don't use a lot of stuff with my sandbuck. I need to get the blueprint is what I need to do with this, because I throw it on a brigantine. I do have my brigantine up to 15. I just don't use it very often, but they're worth having on there. Then of course you have water tanks. I don't know if they have the blueprint for that or not, but you can purchase the furnitures there. And this one here doesn't. It does have a blueprint. I get, looks like water tank does too, so that might be worth having. But those also drop out of legacy chests. So those furnitures based off of what you're wanting to do. Now, it may be a situation where there's a furniture you want and you don't know where to get it at. Well, you can track the location again, like I said, by going to your knowledge tab, going to the codex, And then you're going to have furniture. You have major furniture, offensive furniture, and utility furnitures. And in there, you're going to be able to find a location. Let's find a furniture that I don't have a blueprint on here. Bad example there. Most of these I have the furnitures of, maybe not all the blueprints. Well, bad example, because a lot of these furnitures here are actually going to be, you got to buy. So, like that one there, you have to get it from William Blackwood. Or if they bring the event back through, I think that event for that banner is actually coming into Blood Banner's coming back in here in a week or two. Let's look. So this is something else to look at, your seasonal calendar, guys. Yeah, so on the 10th, the Hellfest event comes in. Phoenix Storm's coming back. You're going to be able to get that Blood Banner as well. If for those of you who want it, what that does is those of you who like to be a tank, what you would do is put that on your ship, and it makes all of the enemy fire at you while your team is able to take them out. While you're bracing through and tanking through the damage, they're able to take out the enemy. It's the same as an MMO, guys. You have your DPS guys, you have your tanks, you have your healers, and that's essentially what you're building in the game. So they do a pretty good job with that aspect of it. You know, there are some, you know, with every game, you're going to have those things that maybe leave you scratching your head. And that's one of the things that we that have been playing since Season 1. You either really loved the game and stuck with it, or you loved the game for a time, maybe you got bored with it and maybe you're coming back to it, or you're just coming in for the first time. So there's something for everyone here. The big thing that you are going to face, guys, once you start upgrading, it doesn't take long. You just need a team. Even if you don't have a team, it still doesn't take that long, the path that they've got. This is the thing that's going to take you the longest, is the Helm. Like I say, this is going to be the make or break for you. Now, there's going to be ways to earn pieces 8 to get you started here, and I'm going to show you the quickest way to do that. Once you get your ship where you can run Fangs of the Far, which is a level 4, that's going to drop pieces of 8, and it's going to drop Cupfer bar so that you can go and buy that from Blackwood, buy stuff from Blackwood. Hunter Hunted, he's a level 5, again, going to drop pieces of 8 and Cupfer bars. And then, if you get where you can defeat level 10 ships, a Show of Strength over here, this is going to give you same thing, pieces 8 and Cupfer bars. Now, you can get those Cupfer bars by going to Blackwood, picking up missions from him. You can get them from the blacksmith, some of his missions early on as well. They don't pay a lot, but they do pay some. Your big payouts are going to be farming Mega Fort Houston. That means getting into World Tier 2 with a buddy. We can invite you over and just joining in with the farming and picking up the cargo as it pops in. Now, we've taken people over there that are literally like level 2s and just, you know, have a healer sit by them, healing them so they can grab the cargo, and we can usually get you in a level 15 ship pretty quick. Not as quick as we used to be able to, simply because they've cut down. Well, I say cut down, they've revamped, I guess, buffed up the fort. It takes longer to take out the fort in Tier 2 than it used to, and you don't get as many of the smoker ships, is what we call them. They have a pink trail of smoke, and you sink those and get pieces of 8. You still get a few, but not quite as many, so they've cut back on the amount of 8s that you can farm each time. So for me, what it takes to take out a Tier 2 Mega Fort Houston, I can farm Show of Strength, Fangs of Farah, and Hunter Hunted, and literally just run these 3 just as fast as I can load over to them. And you might have a 20-second wait by the time you come back over here. And you can actually farm out around 6,000 pieces of 8 in the amount of time it takes people to do 2,200 for Mega Fort Houston. Just so you're aware. Now, another thing that you can do once you've reached level, so you're only going to get on a solo, they've reduced the amount. Typically 175, this one here gives 350. We're going to jump over and I'm going to show you what one of these look like here. Now, once you've collected factories, this is how you're going to gain your factories, guys, doing takeovers. Now, if you're doing red, it means you're in PvP, and it means other people can attack that territory with you, but they will also be attacking you. If it's green, it's a solo. Like I'm in now, it's just me against the fort. So the first thing you're going to want to do, don't take the towers out immediately. Wait for it to start, because that's going to give you the bulk of the points, and you want to get through it pretty quick. So once we take out these towers here, that's going to take you probably a little bit more to take these out, because I'm actually using a specially designed weapon to take out towers and walls. I could two-shot Megafort Houston walls with this in tier 1. Used to be one shot, but they've changed. Like I say, they've buffed the fort some. Takes me about 4 shots on a wall in tier 2. And then you want your DPS fleets that take out the ships. We got a lot of guys that do that, and we mix up the damage just in case you get those shields that are going to come in here and start healing, which happens on mega forts. It doesn't happen over here, guys. But once you take out these forts, all you've got to do after you take out towers is sit here and wait for the ships to show up, and you want to hit the 100% progression part. So sink ships as they show up, try to get them out of the water as quickly as possible, and you should be able to do that within the allotted time pretty easy. Now, the way it works in a hostile PvP style is whoever has the highest percentage at the end of the timer. In this, you have to actually reach 100%. So do not leave the zone. If you leave that zone, that red line, the red border there, it does not count toward completion. And if you don't have the 100%, you won't get that fort, guys. Again, we're going to brace up. Now, we took a little bit of damage because I didn't see that first incoming shot. I do recommend you use the advanced repair kit 2s for the amount of cooldown. Now, they used to be like 40 seconds. They're now 60 seconds. They changed some of that. But you still, for the amount of heals that you're getting, you're not having to wait as long to get those to be able to use another one if you need it. Another thing I do use sometimes when doing forts like Mega Fort is that little Grace 3, and I'll use it to either heal myself, or typically I'll heal the crew that I'm fighting with, and their heals that they receive send a percentage back to me the way it's designed, or the way that I've designed it with the Ascension modules. And I've got videos on that kind of stuff. I'm just trying to make something comprehensive and give y'all some ideas of what's going on, because I've seen a lot of folks kind of come over and watch what's going on, but with some of these hostile takeovers. So I think making a video on it could actually help some of these new gamers coming into the game. It really is a good game. Now that, like I say, it's received a lot of hate. There's been some aspects of it that I'm not gonna lie, kind of can be hard to swallow sometimes, but overall the game itself is beautifully done. I mean, they've done a great job on the ships. There's some ships I like the design of better. Like, to me, the Bark, while it's a great healing / you can use it as just a healer, you can use it as a DPS healer, which is where you're giving out some heals, but you're actually turning it into more of a battle Bark. That's not a bad idea to do with those in your groups as well. So we've got a lot of different builds like that too. But it's totally up to you what your style of gaming is. Are you a DPS guy, a tank, a healer? And maybe you're like me and you want to have something, one of each, because you like to change roles. So that's one of the things I do. Schooner's a great all-around ship. This is actually designed for taking out fort walls, but as you can see, it does just as good against ships. And whether you're here in tier 1 or tier 2, it doesn't really matter. Now, if you notice, when I shoot these ships, I aim for the red spots. Those are the weak points. That's where the money shot's at. You hit him in the weak spots, he's going to go down a lot quicker. If you're just shooting him into sails, you're going to be breaking his sails, but you're not doing a lot of damage to the actual ship itself. Okay, so that gives you a takeover. Now, we did get 350 pieces of 8 off of that. Now, what I have been seeing, though, is typically you get about a 175 off of those when it comes for the green takeover. So I was a little shocked to see we just got that. Now, fast travels. These can be your friend, but they can also be your enemy, guys. If you're coming early into the game and you don't have a lot of silver, you don't want to be fast traveling around a lot, because it gets expensive. 700 or 800 to 900 is usually around 1200 to travel from one end of the map to the other. that's going to break you at the early stage of this game. So what I do recommend is just taking and doing the long haul, enjoying the farm, shooting every ship you see. Now, when you're shooting every ship you see, understand you're getting an aggro. It's kind of like GTA for those of you who played that. You know, you see the little 4-star wanted level. Same thing in this game. The higher aggro you have, or the higher your little checks are up above, it's going to create a situation where bigger ships come, stronger ships come for that fleet. Now you will have these basic ships here, like these little what are they called here? Let's see what this guy's called. Privateer, that's it. Now here's the bad thing about the weapons I use right here, because I don't really want to get an aggro against Campaign Royale, but I did. Even though I didn't technically shoot them, my ship puts out AoE damage, meaning those explosive rings I was talking about. As soon as I take out a ship, it sends an explosion out, and it damages everybody around. It almost killed that guy from the ring that come out. Now, they did fix a few things in this game where if you have an aggro, you can still fast travel. It takes a 10-second countdown. That is new to this game. That didn't used to exist. We used to have to destroy everything around you, and sometimes it still would make you wait, or you would have to travel to a different location. It could be really frustrating back in the early days, but like I say, there's a lot of things that they've improved for those who left the game and are thinking about coming back for large ships. Frigates come out here. According to the card that they have out, you can Google that. We're going to get frigates. We're going to have Oaths of War. What Oaths of War is, you're going to be picking a faction as a player. Now, I don't know how that's going to transcribe into a lot of different aspects yet, because there's not been a lot talked about on that. But you will be choosing either a DMC side or a Campaign Royale side. It looks like they're building a mega fort here. The Campaign Royale is actually building one here, but the DMC takes it over, is what it sounds like they're talking about in the deck. Not this past one, but the one before that. And so that's going to be pretty cool to see that happen. You're going to swear an oath of fealty to either the DMC or the Campaign Royale, and that will expand the storyline within the game going forward into seasons 3 and 4. You're going to be getting in season 3 a new quartermaster type of a situation where you're going to be able to choose who your quartermaster is going to be. It's going to have certain effects for your ships. You have to go rescue them, and it sounds like there may be some different options of which ones you want to use too. So that'd be kind of cool. Maybe a different one for each ship. I'm not sure. You know, we're going to have to wait and see exactly how they roll it out. These are just things that they have discussed in the deck for those who don't follow on Twitch. They do have deck on there, and it's typically just before a new release of a season or midway into one, they'll have some information on it. So there is a couple of new things here for folks who really were getting into PvP. So they have this new Death Tides PvP thing. It's okay. It's not really for me. And here's why. It's not that it's bad. It's that I'm burnt out on arena style PvP. I came from like games like Call of Duty back in the day where they have small PvP lobbies and it's a team deathmatch against each other, or capture, hard point, whatever you want to call it. And you got to capture the flag, capture the hard point, and stuff like that. And that's essentially what it is with ships. And it can be a lot of fun with your friends and stuff. Nothing wrong with it. But what I want is the game, which is basically like what we have down here, except it's a full-on PvP territory, northern map. The side that you've chosen in your Oaths of War fealty is the side that you're on up here, and y'all have your own mega forts, and we hit your mega fort or you hit our mega fort, and we're either trying to get back to our location with your goods or vice versa, and you're having to fight, and the whole time you're up here you're farming just like you're able to do here, but at any moment you could run into a rogue fleet of me and 20 of my buddies type of situation. That's what we're waiting for them to finally bring into the game. Now, it looks like season 4, that's finally going to come into reality here with the new takeovers situation they're going to have. We're also going to be getting the large ships. The first ship's going to be the frigate. There's going to be a corvette. And then there's an undisclosed ship that we're going to be able to hook a hunter's dhow to. Now, that's not to be confused with the current dhow that we have in game, guys. Okay, you don't. It's not going to be. Let's see here. This little bitty ship here. A hunter's dhow is going to be used for the hunter's guild. Now, the hunter's guild is going to be going after things such as large whales, large sharks. More importantly, and more excitingly, the Kraken that's finally coming out in Season 4 as well. So those are going to be some aspects. It's going to be great. You're going to have people in dhows trying to handle that thing, but you're also going to have your large ships as well. So you're going to be able to have a lot of, I don't know exactly how it's going to work with some of that stuff, but you're going to have a lot of aspects where you're going to be able to take, and we'll show you some of the stuff that they're sneaking in. They're sneaking some Easter eggs into the game, guys. So one of those is over here at Talak Panjara. And me personally, this is what I'm excited about, finally getting to hunt. Now, we can go out on the dhow right now with a spear and take in small sharks and things like that, you know, gators and stuff. But they're just not very large, you know. It's not like reminiscent of that Black Flag monstrosity type stuff, kind of like this great hammerhead is. So definitely looking forward to being able to access these types of abilities in the game, hunting these things. So that's coming in Season 4. So a lot of great aspects. Stick with it. Now, if you're trying to figure out what exactly is happening here in the map or in the seasonal release. Now, this first season is called Ascent into Chaos. Obviously is up there. Now, all last year was called Rise of the Kingpins, meaning we were all Kingpins coming in, and most of us that are playing the game today that you see in these level 15 ships are typically players that have been here since early release last year. And we've opened up just about everything in the game that we want. Maybe not everything, but most everything in the game that we want. And most everything in the game is worth having. But understand, they constantly go through and they reconfigure aspects of this game, which means that today's top weaponry and armor tomorrow may not be. And it may be something that we've not used in a very long time, where they come back and they rebuff those things. So those are going to be some interesting aspects to follow. That was something that they actually released on the Reddit recently. They were talking about some of the changes and balancing things that they're going to be doing in the game, and we're going to discuss some of that right now. Like I say, some of it doesn't make sense. Some of it we'll just have to wait and see how it actually plays out. So one of the things that they're looking at trying to do, unfortunately, and you've already noticed it, guys, is Mega Fort Houston. We were able to farm this every 5 minutes, and we were able to garner, well, you know, within a day's worth of farming, you know, 120,000 pieces of 8 to put toward our helms. All right. That's how I got a lot of this stuff. Farming like crazy, building my helm. Now, still got a lot of work to do. Some of these things are crazy expensive. Like this one here will be 35,000. This one up here is going to be 25,000, but it'll give me another Ascension module production slot. Now over here we've got Ascension module productions, and we have upgrade part productions. Over here we have upgrade part production. Again, upgrade. I may eventually get this one up to Ascension module. Right now, what I'm thinking is 3 upgrades and 3 Ascension modules, and that's bringing in materials for my warehouse that look like these, you know, your little upgrade parts. So these are things that you use to upgrade ships and upgrade weapons in your blacksmith. So this is a new aspect, things that you new guys are going to be coming into. You're going to need some of this stuff. So if you decide we want to send a weapon, you know, any weapon we've got in here, let's find something. Let's say we decided we wanted to bring up maybe a Klein. Let's see what we, okay. Ascension models, we want to do this. So we're going to come in and we're going to do an unlock modification. So we're going to send this item. And this gives us an extra perk on this weapon now. So it looks like an incendiary perk on a weapon that's already designed as having combustion 3, which is explosive damage. Now we've added incendiary to it. Now, let's say we want to hit the wrong button there, guys. Sorry about that. Let's go back to it. Let's say we wasn't happy with that. We could then reforge the modification and say we wanted to go with something, we wanted to add shock to this electric damage. We would continue to roll this modification. You go into this area here, then it would say, okay, it would give dire explosive, but I want shock. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to reforge again. Oh, I got damage, 64 extra damage per shot. Well, it's not what I'm looking for, so I reforge again. And you're going to sit here, and this is what you call by rolling. And now rolling gets expensive on your parts, and it gets expensive on your silver. So if you're new to the game, you're probably not going to get to roll a lot of stuff. But we, like I say, farm with the team. I won't put Advantage Soul Discord thing in there. You probably have seen it if you looked earlier, but just going to be an invite for you. We're going to get you where you can farm this stuff out, be able to get plenty of the silver and stuff. So this here is going to deal an extra burst of 55 electric damage. Now, there's a couple different things that you can look at this. Now, the other one is going to add 10.5 damage is flooding damage up here on the existing. All right. Then you have this here where we could actually put 55 electric damage. Instead of switching a percentage, we could just do sparks. You could do that. I want to set that up as a second best, but that's not what my goal is. My goal is to have electric, an actual, a true electric boost. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to reforge again, and we're going to keep looking for that. Like I say, we're spending upgrade parts every time we roll this thing out. And it's up to you how many times you want to do it. So this here's going to add 9.4% of the damage as electric damage. So whatever damage we're putting out is adding another 9.4 as electric damage, which is probably going to be higher than the 55 electric damage there. So we're going to go ahead and go with shock. That's my preferred perk. And then you would have another unlock modification. But if you look, next time it's going to cost you specialty materials, sinew string, ill sturdy rope, and ascension modules. Plus it's going to cost you pieces of 8. And then the Ascension 3 would then cost you more materials on top of that. So it does get rather expensive. Now, for those of you coming into the game, just so you're aware, you can actually come in and you could get a lot out of a Bombard 5 and a Long Gun 5, which has a high base rate damage. These here are going to automatically have a Piercing 1 perk. This is going to have an Explosive 1 perk on there, and you can potentially actually get more damage, and I'll show you on mine. Manage ship. So this is a Dardanelle gun. Now it has a base damage 5304. It's a rank 114 on the gear score. This is fully ascended the way this is made. My rear Bombard is a Bombard 5. Has a damage of 5,443 on the output. This is a Dardanelle cannon, specialty gun, 5,304. Are you seeing the difference there? About almost 140 difference. Now my Bombard 5 is a slower reload, unfortunately, but a faster fire rate. Now, the difference is this fires in unison on the Dardanelle, and this fires separately. I could fire each of those separately. Now, I came in here and I went ahead and added shock on all this. Plus, I threw the siege perk on there to help with some of the wall damage. Then I threw second storm on. When you're in tier 2, you're running into these adaptive armor ships. And even here in tier 1 here now, when you're farming Oosted, you will run into a little sharpshooter or a broadsider. And anything with explosive, high explosive heals him. So you needed something. I needed something that was going to give me a lot of damage that's not necessarily explosive. So that's why I went with the shock perks on here, even the siege and that second storm. Now these white weapons get 4 ascensions. That's what makes them more powerful. Plus you get that the ultimate special, that purple special. You get that with those as well. You don't get those with your purple weapons, unfortunately, because they're already gaining unison, is what they're considering as a perk here. Now, on the Lange Cartois, Impending Doom is what they're considering that specialty perk. That's why you're not getting a purple upgrade here, in case you're wondering. That's why. So, like I said, you can do a lot of work with those bombard fives and long gun fives, even culverin fives and stuff like that. Now, like I said, the culverins are okay. They're not the greatest weapon in the game. They don't put out a lot of, they're not really good at any one thing. They do a good job at knocking out cells, ripping cells, but they're just not a high DPS weapon. So bombards, long guns, can't go wrong with those. I love demi cannons, and I believe demi cannons are going to have a big part in this game. So I do recommend that you pick up some Zama 3s. They're called Zamas, and they're sold. The blueprints are sold over there by Unita over there in St. Anne, and I highly recommend those. Now, you can farm out these new Klein Cartois from this event here to Honorless Missouri. Now, this is something that we run in our Discord quite a bit, guys, and if you join Discord, don't be shy. When you see people in voice chat, jump straight in, say hi. We love meeting new people. We love getting new players into stuff. We will bring you into an area. We will set you up with a healer right next to you, and we're going to get you ranked up, and we're going to get your ship leveled up. And all we ask is that you stick with us, man. Just hang in there. We're going to build in. We're building a heck of a team over there, and it's just a lot of guys have been here since season 1, and we're loving the fact that we're getting new players and wanting to help you guys get the most out of the game. And it's really the best way to learn. Now, so here's what I was talking about earlier is this location here is only paying 175 pieces of 8. I need to look at this because I've got a level 3 here. I think actually that one location was a 3 that I just bumped up. It was. That's why it was the 350, I guess. Okay, so if it's an area that you've already got to a level 4, it's only giving you 175 pieces of 8. Now, all of your PvP zones, as far as I know, are giving to 450, whether it's a level 4 or not. So that's level 4. Typically, I jump over and do those for 450 pieces of 8, as long as no one's in it. I try not to harass people in spots, but if it's something I need, I'll jump in. Like if it'd been like this 2, I'd have done it. That way I could upgrade that to a 3 without spending any 8s. So I've slowly been doing that. Every location here has been upgraded to a 4 by running hostile takeovers. Every time you run a hostile takeover, it's going to up your location or up your rank to upping to maximum of a 4. If you want 5s, you have to spend 10,000 pieces of 8 to get it to a 5. I don't recommend doing that early on like I did. That's 30,000 8s I'll never get back. Now, there are some locations such as Houston Capital I went ahead and took to a 5, and that was to boost my production rate on my Ascension modules. Now, 0.05 doesn't seem like much, but when I'm playing the game and I'm just farming out here, I could actually swing by, and for 358s, I can boost this thing, and 4 boosts is going to produce me 1 part. And I can boost it 4 times in an hour. So every hour I'm putting out a free module, but you're also getting those nice bonuses of kicking these things out. So I do highly recommend that you focus in on your helm like as soon as you possibly can. Now, what ship do you want to use, man? That's going to be up to you, your play style. What you need to figure out early in the game, what ship do you like? If there's a small ship that you just really like and you really like the play style, guess what? There's a medium ship to go with it. In fact, there's usually 2 to choose from. So you'll end up with something that's going to be, maybe it's got explosives. So explosives are going to be like the Padawan. And hey, guess what? What else works with that? That's going to be the Schooner. Schooner has great explosives as well. A little bit different cell configuration than that Patty. Like I say, right here, this is adding this says it excels at devastating broadside attacks, turning every barrage into an explosive reaction. So any weapon you use on it, you're going to get an explosive reaction. Now, if you're using explosives on top of that, it's going to help even better. It has a Fury perk. This is going to increase damage to structures by 50%. Now, I have a 35% boost for siege on my Dardanelle cannons and also on my rear bombard. So on my sides here, I'm getting a 85% boost towards structures, and then I can run that vat of volatiles and counter, I think it's another 15% if I really want to, and just do some massive damage. But I don't typically have to run that too much. It does a great job against weak points, an additional 30%. Then you have a hit of 30% chance of triggering Fury on yourself, which is going to give you additional broadside weapons damage of 25%. And you're going to be able to triggering 700 damage explosion, which for every 3 seconds within a 100-meter blast. So for 100 meters every 3 seconds, 700 blast damage is coming off. It just really starts to add up a lot when you start adding the right weapons to it. You get the volatile explosive perks, deep blue, which is improving the turning speed with traversing the seas. Now what they're talking about on that is they're talking about open seas, not so much inside tributaries. Your small ships get what's called a river rat perk, and I'll show you one of my favorite small ships in the game here. So this here is just a fantastic, again, explosive weaponry. You probably are starting to see a theme with me. I love stuff with an AoE that just sends out large blasts. Again, outburst is going to do a 50% chance of triggering an explosion. Deals 1,500 damage within a blast radius of 150 meters, increasing damage to structures by 40%, explosive damage by 15%. I run fire bombard 3s that are fully ascended on this thing. They do fantastic job, massive damage. It has the ruin perk, which is explosive damage hits decrease the enemy's weapon damage by 20%. So when I hit them with my explosive bombards, it decreases the incoming damage coming to me by 20%. That works in PvP, by the way, for those who are wondering. Heavy arsenal, able to equip front weapons, auxiliary weapons, and unlock rear gun ports. Now what that means is once you upgrade this ship to, I believe it was 13, you open up that heavy arsenal perk, and or maybe it was a 12, but then you also open up that river rat perk as well, which is improved speed and turning speed traversing through rivers. I use this a lot of in river battles and stuff like that, but I used it in open water too. But just fantastic. This is a very simple build. Fire bombard 3s fully ascended all the way around. I put electric damage on them. Same thing I did with the other one with the with all that electricity, so it just jumps around between ships. And then I put the Warhammer on it. Great armor. It did Wrathful Ward armor for every ship I sink. It boosts it 25% for 30 seconds on the armor, and of course on the weaponry as well. The armor, not great on any one thing per se. Does a good job against explosive, 45% negation, 30% on penetrating. And, you know, the flooding and the fire, not so great. No electric. And, of course, there's nothing that protects against the sail rippers or breaking your mast, unfortunately, right now. A lot of different types of furniture that I throwed on this thing that worked pretty decent. Some things I need to come back in. Like I say, this was reworked for running in PvP. We're going to be switching some of this stuff here out. I think I actually switched this to a Wrathful Ward so I could bump into guys and give them gas clouds. But like I said, I typically like to use that Buccaneer's Oath with these types of ships. So, like I said, there's no wrong ship, no right ship, no best ship. There's the ship that best suits your gameplay, guys. I just, if I had to recommend any one particular ship right now that's going to be easy for you to get, you're going to be able to get the Schooner. Very versatile ship. This in here I've called the Divine Wind. I have these Divine Wind mortars. They're just like massive shock electric damage. Insane the way it works. It calls in heavily damage from the sky. We'll go ahead and come out here to the water just so you can see it. Now this is a weapon you can pick up right now running these Missouri events that we run. Even if you don't drop the weapon, you're earning the bloody doubloons where you can buy the weapon inside, and you know, like I say, you should be able to drop a few free weapons, but you could grind out quite a few points in no time, really, guys, with the crew. So let's get out here, and even if there's not a ship to shoot at, we're going to just start lobbing some bombards. So everywhere that this bombard lands, it's going to call in lightning strikes. So if that's an enemy ship, you're calling in those lightning strikes down on them. So fantastic weapon, great ship. You're getting those boosts off of the sides here, the extra explosive damage as well on top of all that. Does a fantastic job. I highly recommend them for this ship, but I also recommend them for the sloop. I also recommend it for the Padawan. Great aspects. Now, Maybe not so much for a sandbuck unless you put on a lot of fire. Then you could get that ablaze effect. But I'm still partial to the sandbuck, man. That's just one of my favorites, guys. So, but that's kind of what I'm looking at here. I hope this video has been of help to you. And again, make sure you check that link down below, because you're going to have a link for a Discord invite. And if the link has expired, I'm getting a lot of folks that are just coming into the game, and these links are only good for like 7 days. So if you're able to jump in and the link's wrong, just say, hey man, the link's expired, can you send me a fresh one, and I'll get you a new one. But definitely make sure you check over at Why So Serious. He is the leader of Banished Souls Discord. Looks like he actually just come into the game here. So make sure that you check out his videos on all these ships, whether it's a Garuda, whether it's a small ship. He's got a ship build that's one, it's going to help with your newcomers, and it's going to help with your advanced. And you're going to be able to find out what the best weaponry is for you. Now, when it comes down to what weapon you should use, that's really dealer's choice. If you're better with long guns, that's cool. But if you prefer bombards, then he's going to have a build for you on that as well. So, really good resource there. We'll catch everyone later.